Hello Internet, James Allen from Out of 8, and today I'm playing racing game Grid 2. This is a sequel in the track street side of Codemasters Racing Series, Dirt being more off-road oriented. It's definitely more of an arcade game than a sim, as you'll see when we start playing, so I'm just going to launch into the single-player stuff first. And away we go. There is a career mode which follows this new little racing series that's being developed. Basically, you have to place top 3 in a number of events to enter that season's World Series races, and then once you do good, then you end up going to a different continent. So I'll pull that up first and just kind of show you around. In addition to the events, there's vehicle challenges where you go in and you can try to get a minimum time on a track to unlock an additional car if you like that sort of thing. You can also test drive if you want. There's also promotional events where it has special rules in a race. We'll actually do one of those here. Do a little overtake mode in a specific car. As you complete stuff, you earn fame, which is the way of unlocking that season's World Series races. Thankfully, cutscenes are kept at a minimum. You can see they retain the little stats. This is basically all the cutscenes, just shows the new city. So this is overtake. Basically, in this mode, you have to pass cars without running into them. And then you get more points the faster you take them in a row, as you can see.
That's how it's done. Keep it up.
I will. And these cars are real jerks about it, as you can imagine. It requires braking and stuff to drive, but it's still not a simulation. And it's not designed to be. It's designed to be wide appeal. Actually, let me do the flashbacks. For console type audience, more general. You have these flashbacks, as in previous Codemasters games, where you can redo parts. Which is handy in single player. It really reduces the what a jerk. The tedium and re-racing stuff. Honestly, the AI isn't very challenging until you get to the finals championships races in the World Series. Other than that, the game's pretty easy.
Keep this up and victory will
Oh, jerk. This mode is especially difficult on narrow racetracks. Handbrake, collide, redo. There we go. Still gonna collide. No, whatever. Back to 100. Close my door. The game is very forgiving. The damage, you could beat your car up immensely. You saw I flipped a truck, and I basically have no performance penalty at all. So it's definitely, with the way the handling and the damage is, definitely an arcade game racer. Out of my way.
lucky that was a bad crash.
Yeah. All the races are short, usually under 5 minutes, usually more like 2 to 3 per event. Well, I can't overtake them if you don't give me any cars to pass.
On to the final lap.
What is this? That's not nice at all. getting close to ending this lap here. I believe, yeah. Yeah.
What a drive. You gave the sponsors exactly what they asked for.
Well, thank you. So, as you noticed during the race, the graphics are really nice and they perform really well. So, there's my new fan count. There's also split screen if you want to do that single player. Alright, let's do some of these events here. Yeah. This one is basically it's a one-on-one race. These cars are basically the same. We'll choose this one. It's a one-on-one race. If you lead the other guy by 5 seconds, then the race is over. That's really kind of the only wrinkle that this adds. Alright. And you can't run into them. That gets you disqualified, so... you can see the user interface is pretty standard, although if you look in the bottom left, there's this little rotary thing that's in red that shows you how far along in the race you are, which is pretty nifty. I like that. Yeah, we'll redo that corner. Oh, you don't. You do notice a performance difference between the different vehicles, so... Although a lot of the vehicles are the same class, that was bad, basically drive the same. So it's more just a name difference and a car model difference than actually any difference in performance. Alright, 3/4 of the way done. With the rear-wheel drive vehicles, they really want you to drift around the corners, the way the physics engine is set up. Yeah, we'll do that one again. That was bad too. It's a longer corner than I had anticipated. Alright. There we go. Almost had this guy beat. There we go, 5 seconds. So, you know, or you just beat him heads up to the finish line. It just gives you a way of skipping to the end. I'll race the same guy again and basically do the same thing, I would imagine. Same track.
Keep on extending that gap.
Okay. I was actually planning on losing this race, so it's a good thing that that guy said something. That was really bad. Let's redo that. Alright, try that again. Not much better, but it'll do. There's some interesting layouts in the game. Some more annoying than others. They're visually distinctive locations too, like you can usually kind of tell where you're at just based on the track. Side objects and whatnot.
He's gaining ground. Push it.
Okay. As with the last couple of Codemasters games, you can have it call the spotter call you by name. But as some people have mentioned, there aren't any female names. It's just male names unless you happen to have a unisex name, which is kind of silly to, you know, disregard half the people in the world by not including their names. Ah, the corner. There we go. That's more like it. Although that still wasn't super good. 5 seconds. There we go. Saving me some time.
That's a real show of brute strength to win from the chasing position.
Yeah. First, a winner is me. As you race, you can actually add sponsors to your car, which will give you little objectives to complete. And you can also do custom paint jobs and stuff like that, which is pretty neat.
We really need to get some awareness surrounding the upcoming season.
Uh-huh.
Completing sponsor objectives would help do that.
Let's do a checkpoint race. And we'll just do that car. In checkpoint races, there's a countdown timer, and you get additional time every time you pass a checkpoint. And then the winner basically is the one who travels the furthest before their time runs out. So we'll show that one next.
Hong Kong's got some technical sections that will put you to the test. Keep your concentration. Dubai VIP probably think they're gonna win this with ease and style. That's not what's gonna happen, right?
I hope not. Oh, really bad. Maybe it is. That's what's going to happen. Oh, exit. Totally missed that.
Bank more time. Keep going. 10 seconds to go before the next checkpoint. Five seconds left.
This one's actually pretty difficult. Well, geez, that's the worst I've ever done on a checkpoint. The first one in this event, I easily got first.
Dubai VIP won't be interested in the WSR unless we offer them a challenge.
Yep. But you get the idea. I knew I waited until I was recording, show how terrible I am to the world. At least some people liked my 6th place finish. Ooh, yeah. A lot of people, actually. Numbers.
We really need to get some awareness surrounding the upcoming season.
Yeah, yeah.
Leading sponsor
Alright,
can help
now for an event that I'm truly terrible at, and that's drift. I hate drift. I already attempted this once and I got 8th. So, that's not so good. Hey, look, stuff.
Okutama tracks run on an extreme gradient. Maintaining speed is the key to success.
Okay.
Let's see if she's set up for handbrake drifts. For this, you need to purposefully throw your car into an aggressive oversteer. To initiate a handbrake drift, approach the corner at speed. When you're ready to drift, let off the gas and turn. Immediately pull the handbrake, turning into a drift.
Ooh.
Gently apply gas.
I guess you're not allowed to hit the rocks.
Nice. Bag those points.
Yeah. I stink. I think that counted. There's a little time limit, but usually I have enough time. Well, it's probably not fair because that guy hit me. Speaking of setup that I mentioned earlier, there's no car setups and no qualifying in any of the events.
Good drift. Yeah, it's a tough move to pull.
Just go, gosh. What a jerk.
That's a new personal best. Now see if you can break it again.
Hey, there we go. See, told you I was terrible at drift. Ended up doing better on that than the checkpoint race.
Oh, man,
Figure that
was
out.
Something else. Getting a good reputation on the drift scene is going to get you a lot of new fans.
Yeah. Basically, all you have to do to keep progressing in the game is finish 3rd or better. So you don't have to win. And in these initial races, they give you some choice as to which event you do. Like I could...
drift like a pro as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You're turning out to be a very capable driver.
Um,
Back to drift some more.
I don't have to beat that checkpoint one necessarily to get this unlocked, the season. But it helps to do well in each of the events. So there's the career mode. Basically, you just unlock stuff to unlock the races, and then you'll have to do a certain set of races. I'm going to do some custom events to kind of show off the rest of the modes. Let's see. We'll do a race. We'll show off the tier 1 cars here. Let's see. Let's do Barcelona. Do 2 laps. And actually you can randomize it, which is interesting. And we'll pick... I don't know. How about this guy? That was kind of my favorite car from Tier 1. There's also a race mode called Live Routes, which actually changes the track setup on the fly. As you race, it can, the next corner can either be in any of the directions that or on the layout, and that works for any of the urban areas. So it's an interesting mode. Obviously, that speaks to the arcade nature of it because you can't really practice it because it's random and different every time. But it obviously adds a little bit of replay value.
Public streets, so the racing surface could be uneven.
Okay. I couldn't see the option to enable that in custom races,
Places in the first few
but
corners.
that was a good corner. If you don't know a track, you can kind of use the AI and just brake after they brake to kind of learn the track. It's actually kind of helpful to be behind the guy.
Last lap, second place. You can do this.
Although now I should try to pass him, but I think on hard he's going to be way out in front. This game doesn't have rubber banding of the AI necessarily, but it is. Usually there's 3 good guys because you have to place third in a race, and then the rest of the pack just kind of runs together at the end. I'm going to go on this side. And you can see the graphics are outstanding in it, and it runs really fast too. I'm going to finish second. Oh, there we go. Second.
That's first place across the finish line. Not a bad finish.
No, not bad. Alright, try another one. Let's do it in Indianapolis. We'll do an eliminator, tier 2 cars. We'll try the Challenger. I haven't raced that yet. With eliminator, it every 20 seconds eliminates the last place car. So that's how that works. Haven't done very much with the custom events because I've been focusing on the campaign mode, the career mode. All right.
Time for a high-speed sightseeing trip around Paris. Let's show them how it's done.
Oh, I picked Paris, didn't it? Guess you can't do eliminator at Indianapolis. Well, I'll just do a race there with the tier 3 cars. Well, get to see Paris. Cars are more adept on hard, I will say that. Oh gosh. Yeah, let's redo that. That's about the only way you'll get bad damage is by doing what I just did twice in a row. Go. I'm not doing so good on this track. Out of my way. Beep beep. I like to get the AI drivers. It's pretty easy to get stuck on them.
That's another eliminated and out of the running.
you know, they'll just stay in front of you and they slow you down.
Further back in one.
Nope. Try that again. There we go. Gonna be eliminated here in a bit. That's right. Doing it on hard.
Another one gone. Keep it going.
It's that stinking corner again.
Five drivers still here. Show them what you got.
I'll show you what I got. I got fourth.
Top 4 is good. Top 3 is even better. Keep
Yeah,
pushing.
that's how numbers work, buddy. I'm not gonna catch him. I have noticed the AI doesn't really wreck out at all. They're just slower than you. Yep, fourth. Oh well.
Well, you're not on top, but it's not a poor result.
If you insist. Alright, now we'll try Indianapolis. Whereas the game has a lot of tracks and cars, race. There's day one DLC with this, which if you know, you buy the game for $50, apparently that isn't enough anymore. If you want to unlock everything, which is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. What does this have? Okay. Let's try Indianapolis again. Here we go. GP. 2 laps. Sure. You know, the game has a good mix of muscle cars and touring cars and drift cars and roadsters and stuff like that. So, but I think one of the DLCs is like the Indy Racing League type cars, which obviously would be great for Indianapolis. And it's kind of scumbaggy that they don't just give you everything when you pay them all that money. They just want to nickel and dime you. Of course, the only way to make them stop doing that is to not buy it. So, you know. Alright, Indianapolis, yes. Alright. Hopefully we won't have any tire failures here like in the F1 event. This is the F1 track layout. So, again, really nice graphics. Car models are obviously really good. Which was true before. Screw that. But what really has gotten the improvement since Grid 1, although, you know, honestly that came out a while ago, is the tracks look a lot better.
You can take second from here.
I could. You know, especially stuff in the far distance. And there's no fogging or anything like that. I mean, you can see as far as it can go. and it runs buttery smooth on even the highest settings on what I would consider to be a mid-range PC. Although the mid-range PC is basically what the new consoles are going to have. The same specs. So, which is nice because, you know, for any console games that get ported to the PC, it means they don't have to upgrade it for a while. So, I'm going to get... No, I didn't get penalized for that.
Back to race pace. Going off track slowed you down.
Actually, it made me pass somebody. Sometimes it'll penalize you for going into the grass, but it seems to only be in certain places. Like, obviously, that wasn't one of the places. Alright, fast time. It's weird going clockwise on this track instead of counterclockwise.
Last lap, second place. You can do this.
I could. Not soon enough. Where did I break? 100? 150, I think? Alright, we'll try 200. That's too soon. That's alright. Ugh. Terrible. Alright, let's retry that. Out of my way. Not exactly the best lines through these corners, but what are you gonna do? Alright, home stretch. Get my second place finish. Hopefully. There we go. Alright. So that's most of the racing modes. There's also an endurance mode, which basically is a 5-minute race, which is kind of hilarious that a 5-minute race is considered endurance. Game, you know, has a lot of short attention spans, apparently, people playing it. And then there's also a time attack mode, which is where you just try to get the fastest lap. So, last thing I'm going to do is actually jump online. Here's the DLC store, blah. And show you kind of what the features are there. Ah! Where the racers are a lot better, to say the least. As you play, you actually earn cash, which lets you buy upgrades to vehicles. You can, as you can see here, you can get better engines or handling, or upgrade it to a different, you know, tier and stuff like that when you get up to tier 2. So, if you so choose. Then you can also do the same thing like you can on single player, and that's customize your stuff with some sort of, and then it costs money, of course, to do that sort of thing. So I'm not going to waste my money on doing that. Although if you know, play enough events. There's a global challenge, which is basically a set race that everybody tries to do, and then it picks out some rivals for you for time attack modes, and then you try to, you know, get better laps than them. But I'm going to focus on the online play. When you go online, like their previous games, it creates a party so you can play with, you know, invite your friends in and everything. And then you can either choose a custom event, where it lets you pick from anything, or a playlist where it either does a mixture of all type events, just racing events, or the alternative like drift events and stuff like that. So I'm just going to do an everything here, and then we'll see what comes up when a matchmaking is done. There you go. So they are doing an event in progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording and pick it up when this event's over, and then I'll show you a couple of online races. So I'll see you in a second. Alright, the race is done. We're voting on a drift, of course. It's a drift. I'm going to veto that as quickly as I can. And then you can veto the track. So, pick your car and off we go. Alright. Oops. Not last. Money. Money. We. All right. When you're online, there's no way to turn off voice chat, which is annoying. There's no push to talk button, so that's why I was kind of quiet during that race. I didn't want everybody to hear what I was talking about. But you know, all the people online have been playing the game for a lot, so I usually finish in last. So I was actually kind of surprised that I didn't finish in last that time. So I think that'll pretty much cover it. So for what it's trying to attempt, which is an arcade racing game, Grid 2 isn't terrible. It's not bad. The AI can be competitive when it's on the harder difficulties, like during the championships. There's a bunch of different racing modes between typical races, the live routes that changes the layout as you drive, endurance modes, although it's only 5 minutes, the eliminator, the different drifting and one-on-one races, stuff like that. Good number of cars, good number of tracks, although there's DLC, which is really annoying. The career mode, Doesn't require you to win every race, but it does require top 3. So you don't have to be perfect. You just have to do well enough, which is pretty easy to do in all but the championship events. The game is obviously an arcade racer. There's no cockpit view, although people are modding it in, which is kind of sad that end users can mod it in, but Codemasters can't put it in the game by default. There's no qualifying. There's no setups. You have the flashbacks, which I find helpful when you screw up. But, obviously that's not spending hundreds of hours mastering a track with a single car like in true simulation racing games. So if you want that type of experience, Grid 2 is not the way to go. But if you're looking for an approachable arcade racer that does provide some fun and a variety of cars and a variety of events, then Grid 2 is a solid outing. So that's all I have for today. And until next time, bye now.